Exit strategies have been a hot topic in Washington, and tomorrow the hot topic will be question number one for Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke on the hot seat. The Fed Chairman is scheduled to make his first testimony to Congress as he starts his second term. Joe Weisenthal is the deputy editor of the BusinessInsider.com and joins us from New York. That is, of course, an online business magazine. Mr. Weisenthal, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Sure. Tell us what you are expecting from the Fed chairman tomorrow and what kind of questioning you're going to hear from the assorted members of Congress tomorrow.
Well, the questioning to the Fed chairman is always a range of things. You have people slamming him for the existence of the Federal Reserve itself. You're going to have people slamming him for the bailouts. There's a lot of antipathy towards Bernanke in Congress right now. He was narrowly confirmed by the Senate. However, this testimony is going to be particularly interesting because Bernanke just started what the Fed is calling the normalization of interest rates. He recently raised the discount rate, which the Fed says is not technically a move towards tighter interest rates in general, but it clearly is a move towards an end of the emergency measures put in place during the crisis.
Okay, so, I mean, is this something, and I guess maybe the question would be from a lot of people's minds is this something that is actually going to start helping the process of maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, reducing the national debt? I mean, is this just posturing? Is this just a PR move? What is this? What do you make of this?
Well, it's not posturing and it's not PR. At some point, we have to put an end to all the completely free money that the Federal Reserve has been printing. In terms of the national debt, it's actually an interesting dynamic because what Bernanke has been doing by keeping money so cheap is allowing the U.S. government to borrow like mad. What will happen is if he starts raising interest rates, the cost of borrowing will increase dramatically for the government. And the congressmen actually don't want that. You see, they're going to be slamming Bernanke on all kinds of things because that's politically popular stance to take, but he's enabling them with his low interest rates and asset purchases to keep spending and keep stimulating the economy. So they kind of have to go through this kabuki dance where they pretend that they're angry about what he's doing, but in actuality, it's the cheap money that he's putting forth that's allowing them to spend. So in a sense, although the beginning of the normalization starting to increase rates is actually going to be a little bit threatening to Congress because what he's basically telling them is that the free money from the Fed won't last forever and that the spending that they're doing, the drunken sailor spending, if you will, is going to have to come to an end.
Okay, so raising of the interest rates, as you had mentioned, it's the stopping of the whole free spending of the drunken sailor. Any potential downfalls with at least what seems to be a cursory raising of the interest rates at this point? Any foreseeable disasters that are happening down the line?
It's unlikely that this particular raise, this first one, the raising of the discount rate, is going to have any big ramifications. If this were a normal recovery, then you could feel pretty confident that over the next several quarters, the Federal Reserve would slowly raise interest rates, getting back to some normal environment. But we don't know what the recovery is going to look like. It's very shaky. Every day brings, it's kind of a debate. Some days we get good numbers, some days we get bad numbers. Today we got a weak number on housing, a weak number on consumer sentiment. And so there is an incredible amount of caution on the part of the Federal Reserve not to raise rates if the economy isn't even recovering. And right now the jury is still out. I mean, people generally see some kind of recovery. GDP growth is technically positive, but we're not getting much job creation. And the big danger is if the Fed gets too nervous about inflation, starts raising rates too early before there's a recovery, and basically sends us right back into a recession.
Joe Weisenthal, Deputy Business Editor-in-Chief, thank you so much for joining us from New York today.
Thank you.